Boats don't burn cash in storms. They burn it in silence, in the slip, in the yard, in the little choices that look harmless and stack up into a number you don't want to say out loud. Today, we're going to stop that. Title on screen says it plain. 9 sailboat mistakes that burn cash and what no one tells you. I'm going to show you how the money actually leaves and what to do instead so your boat buys miles instead of bills. If you like sailing videos, subscribe for more. Here's how we'll do it. I'll give you the mistake, the quiet ways it drains your account, the quick fix, and one sentence you can say out loud at the dock tomorrow that saves you money. Short, direct, no fluff. The worst one is number 5. Let's go. Mistake number 1. Buying the wrong boat for your mission. It starts with a mood, not a plan. You scroll past 2 aluminum centerborders on turquoise water and decide that's your life. Or you fall for a giant deck salon because it looks like a loft. Then you take that boat somewhere it doesn't want to be. Light, wide, and flat in a steep chop. Or heavy and tall in a tight marina with crosswind and short fingers. Wrong boat, wrong water, wrong math. The money leaks out in fixes that don't fix it. You try to turn a warm-weather, big-volume cruiser into an offshore tank with more rails, more tanks, more gear, more everything. Now it's slower, heavier, and still not the boat you need. Or you buy a deep-keel performance boat for the Bahamas and then pay for marinas because your draft keeps you out of the anchorages you dreamed about. Every workaround costs. Here's the quick plan. Write your year before you write your check. 10 lines on a note in your phone. Coasts or crossings. Weeks or months. Average wind you actually like. How many people sleep aboard? Real number. Draft you can live with. How you dock where you live. Distance to fuel and parts. Your comfort with tools. How much time you'll sail versus motor. And how much boat you're willing to clean. That list is your boat, not the glossy photo. If you already bought it, you can still win. Pick the 2 jobs that put the boat back in its lane and stop there. Maybe that's a shallow water anchor package and a dinghy that planes, not a full refit. Maybe it's a 3rd reef and a trysail track, not a new interior. Spend to match the mission, not to fight the hull. Your dock line for this week? Our plan is day sails and short hops this season, so we're spending on easy reefing and ground tackle first. Every dollar after that is a want, not a need. Verdict? Pay for purpose, not for vibe. The right boat is cheaper the day you buy it. Mistake number 2. Skipping the full survey, the rig survey, and the moisture hunt.
I'll see it on the hull. You won't. A hull surveyor taps decks and meters course. A rigger climbs, measures, and photographs terminals and tanks. A good engine person listens cold, checks mounts, looks for black dust under pulleys, and pulls oil for a quick look. Those 3 boring appointments save you from 10 loud ones later. This is what "we didn't check it" costs. A soft foredeck is never just a circle. It spreads like a stain. Recoring eats time and budget. Keel bolts that looked fine from above turn into a yard conversation you didn't plan to have. A mast that looked good from the dock becomes a winter project when the insurer asks for age in writing. A rudder with play gets worse every mile. Moisture around stanchions turns into dark plywood and a long weekend you didn't want. Do the numbers. A real hull survey might be around $1,000 or $2,000. A rig survey, another few hundred. Haul and wash, yard time, some more. That little stack of invoices, call it a couple thousand, can save 5 figures in the first year, or keep you from buying the wrong boat at all. What to check, quickly and without drama. Meter around every piece of deck hardware you care about: chain plates, stanchions, pad eyes, winch bases, the traveler. Tap until your wrist is bored. Look in the bilge with a bright light and study the keel joint for weeping or cracking. On the rig, look for hairline cracks at spreader roots, bent toggles, corroded terminals, any discoloration under swages. On the engine, start stone cold. Watch how fast it fires. Listen at idle after a minute. Oil pressure and temp where they should be. Vibration that doesn't belong. Your sentence at the dock? Survey and rig climb are non-negotiable. If we can't inspect it, we walk. Verdict? Spend hundreds to save tens of thousands. Survey the boat and survey the rig. Mistake number 3. Buying cushions and paint and ignoring the expensive parts that actually move the boat. Fresh wrap, glossy non-skid, dimmable cabin lights. The boat looks perfect, but the main is bagged, the head sail is tired, the standing rigging is older than your dog. The seacocks fight you like rusty jar lids. The engine mounts slump. The cutlass bearing hums. You just paid top dollar for pillows and inherited every hard job. Cosmetics sell boats. Mechanics keep them cheap to own. Paint won't pull you off a lee shore. Teak won't start a hot diesel after a long beat. A glowing cabin won't keep the water out if a hose pops. If you pay for pretty and ignore the working gear, you pay twice. Know these numbers. A new main and head sail on a 30-something might be $4 to $8 grand. On a 50, $5 to $20, depending on cloth and cut. Standing rigging on a big cruiser? 5 figures is common.
A proper anchor, chain, and windlass are a few grand more. A real refrigeration fix, not a regas Band-Aid, costs what it costs. Every dollar you put into glow that you didn't put into go, the boat will ask you for later, with interest. How to shop so you don't bleed. Ask for sail age in years and hours, not recent. Ask for proof of rig replacement, not inspected. Put your hand on every through hull and operate it. Look at the anchor chain by the bitter end and count what's on board. Start the engine cold. Check the mounts for collapse. Listen at idle after a hard run. On the test, sail upwind until the boat talks to you. Bagged cloth will tell on itself. If you already bought, triage like a pro. Sails, rig, pumps, hoses, seacocks, steering, then everything else. Sail the boat ugly before you make it pretty. The ocean doesn't care about your cushions. Your wallet will learn the same lesson. Your line this week. We're replacing the main and the headstay first. The throw pillows can wait. Verdict: buy structure, sails, rig, engine, not pillows. Mistake number 4. The project boat discount fantasy. It only needs sails and some wiring and a fridge and batteries and paint. We'll do it over a few weekends and save a fortune. That's the dream. Here's the calendar. Weeks become months, months become a season. Yard fees keep clicking. Parts arrive wrong or late. You miss a summer, then another. Project boats don't burn cash in a blaze. They leak money slowly. A little here, a little there, until your deal equals the cost of a clean, ready boat plus 2 years of your life. Refit creep is the enemy. You pull a panel to run a wire and decide to rebuild the panel. You touch a winch and decide to pull the base. You open a bilge to mount a pump and decide to fair and paint the compartment. Each choice is sensible. The total is not. Price of refit like a yard would. Write the real list. Sails, standing rigging, running rigging. Batteries, alternator, charger, solar, controllers, fusing. Pumps, plumbing, hoses, seacocks. Refrigeration that actually holds temp. Electronics you can read in sun. Autopilot that steers when it's lumpy. Windlass that lifts all chain without groaning. Anchor and chain sized for the boat, marked every 10. Canvas that won't explode on day 3. Heater if you sail cold. Dinghy and outboard that start. Then add 25% for what you missed. If that number is more than the gap between your deal and a boat that sails this weekend, buy the boat that sails this weekend. If you still love the project, stage it. Safety in motion first. Sails, rig, pumps, seacocks, steering, then engine. Go sailing with ugly interiors and mismatched lights. You'll learn what actually matters for you.
Half your must-have list will die after 5 real days at sea. Don't ignore storage costs. A boat on the hard is a meter. The meter runs every day you aren't sailing. The yard will happily store your dreams until your card expires. Take the hint. Move the boat to water fast. even if it's not pretty. Your sentence that saves a season? We're doing stage 1 to go sailing in 4 weeks. Everything else waits. Verdict? The cheapest boat is the one you can sail this season. Mistake number 5, ignoring the monthly math. This is the quiet killer. Not a storm, not a mast, just time. You buy the boat, you feel rich in miles, and then the bills you don't post about start to pile. Slip or mooring, insurance, bottom, diver, haul out, zincs, fuel that isn't the point but still gets burned, canvas, batteries that age even if you don't sail, taxes where they apply, a yard bill you didn't expect because a storm made you haul. None of those lines is huge. Together, they're the number that owns you. Let's say it out loud so it can't sneak up on you. A big slip in a city can be 4 digits every month just to sit. Insurance adds another line. Warm water, a diver every 4 to 6 weeks, or you'll pay the same money to the fuel dock pushing a dirty hull. Bottom paint isn't forever. Zincs aren't either. If you haul for winter, that storage bill has a comma. If you don't, your dock lines and chafe gear become a budget line all by themselves. And every time you say, "We'll fix that next month," the meter ticks again. The worst burn is when you try to sell. A stale listing costs twice. Once in carrying costs while it sits, again in the final price, because buyers can smell time. Boats that sit lose value fast. The absolute best price a boat ever gets is the first month it looks turnkey, is photographed well, is priced like you mean it, and is still warm from a passage. Do the math before the math does you. Write the monthly nut on a sticky note where you see it. If it makes you sweat, change something real. 10 feet less boat, a different marina, share a mooring, move up river, switch from a city slip to a club mooring with a launch. None of those choices makes your boat smaller at sea. All of them make your life bigger on land. Stop the drip by doing maintenance on a calendar, not when you hear a noise. Schedule the diver, schedule the zincs, schedule the oil, schedule the rig look, schedule the haul. Calendars are cheaper than surprises. Your sentence for the week? We cut the monthly by moving slips and dropping 10 feet. Now we sail more. That is how people keep boats, not by wishing, but by changing the line items. Verdict? Carrying costs don't care how much you love your boat. Name the number and build your season around it. You've seen the pattern by now.
Wrong mission, wrong money. Skip the survey, pay the yard. Buy pretty, inherit the hard jobs. Believe in the project discount, donate 2 summers to the yard. Ignore the monthly math, feel poor with a great boat. The rest of the list gets worse and more specific, and we'll get there. But if you stop just these 5 leaks, the boat starts paying you back in quiet, calm miles. The kind you remember, the kind you wanted when this started. Mistake number 6, lying to yourself about sails and rig life. Sails age even when you don't use them. Rigging ages even when you don't look at it. Sun, salt, flex, and time do their quiet work. Your eyes will say, "Looks fine." Your wallet will learn otherwise. Old sails cost you in sneaky ways. A bagged main makes you heel more just to make the same speed. You reef early, so you go slower. You motor more, so you buy more fuel. The boat slams in chop because the draft is blown aft and the leach won't close. You think it's the hull. It's the cloth. Standing rigging tells the truth at the metal, not in the paint. Terminals, clevis pins, toggles, spreader roots, those are the places that matter. If you can't prove the age is replace me. Insurance knows that. So do surveyors. So does every sailor who has ever heard a bad noise in a good breeze. The cheap lie goes like this: I'll get 1 more season. Then you buy a new autopilot brain to fight the heel. Then you buy fuel. Then you buy a new jib in August anyway at full rush pricing, and you still sail slow because the main is toast. That is 3 payments for 1 fix you avoided in April. Here's the grown-up plan. Price new cloth before you talk yourself out of it. If the main and working head sail are old, put a number on a proper replacement. If the rig is past the interval your waters and insurer expect, book the yard now.
Replace what you can't prove. Swap running rigging that slips or glazes. Fix halyard leads so chafe is not your hobby. And while you're there, mark your reefs so reef 1 happens at the same wind every time. Your sentence at the dock: new cloth, proved rig, and marked reefs, then everything else. Verdict: the first day you sail with a tight main and a fair headsail is the day those dollars feel cheap. Mistake number 7. Electrical spaghetti. Batteries that don't match, chargers fighting each other, solar controllers on different planets, undersized cable, no fuses near the source, salt mist on open studs, a bilge pump wired through a cabin switch. It worked last time is not a diagram. You find it at night when the fridge quits and the anchor light blinks, and then you buy parts you don't need. Electrons burn money because they burn hours. You chase a voltage drop with a new battery when the real problem is a crusty crimp.
You buy a bigger alternator and melt a wire because the gauge was wrong. You upgrade to lithium with the same fusing used for lead and learn in real time why that was dumb. You replace a chart plotter because the screen flickered when all it needed was a proper bus and a clean negative return. Fix it once on paper before you touch a cable. Draw the system. House bank size and chemistry. Start battery. Main fuses within a hand's length of each source. Proper positive and negative bus bars. Shunt on the house negative so your monitor tells the truth. Correct wire gauges for run and load. Drip loops, abrasion protection, covers on any live stud you could touch in the dark. Label both ends of every run with a number and a destination. Put a simple map at the panel so you or a friend can find a fault when your brain is tired. If that sounds like work, book one day with a real marine electrician to build the backbone. Bus bars, fusing, shunt, and a tidy panel. Then you add the toys later without chaos. One day of adult wiring is cheaper than a season of gremlins. Your sentence this week: we're drawing it, fusing it, and labeling it before we bolt anything. Verdict: clean electrons are cheaper electrons. Mistake number 8. Cheap ground tackle and sloppy docking. Anchors are not decorations. Chain is not a guess. Windlasses are not optional on big boats. You try to save here once. You pay later in a way that echoes. Dragging costs more than a bigger hook. It costs gel coat, rails, pulpits, friendship with your neighbor. It costs your sleep and your day after the blow. Buy an anchor that actually sets in your bottoms. Buy real chain, sized for your boat. Buy enough. Mark it every 10 meters or 30 feet so you don't think you have scope, you know you do. Back down hard. Watch the roll bar or the shank. If it moves, reset. Don't talk yourself into good enough at midnight. The other money burn is the dock. Small fenders look tidy. Short lines look neat. Both are wrong. Big boat, big fenders. Big fender boards if it's rough. Spring lines control your position. Bow and stern lines just hold you there. Set springs first. Take them last. Approach at walking speed with a plan to go around. That move is free. One crunch is not. Bow thrusters are tools. Treat them like tools. Service the anode. Keep the tunnel clean. Check the connections. Run it long enough on the hard to know it works before you need it in a crosswind. The one time it quits is always the one time you counted on it without testing it. And learn one good slip trick. A midship spring to a dock cleat that you can motor gently against will stop you like a handbrake and pull the boat in. That one line avoids 3 loud mistakes. Bigger hook, real chain, marked scope, big fenders, big springs, reset if it's wrong. Verdict: tackle and technique are cheaper than repairs and apologies. Mistake number 9. Paperwork, taxes, and insurance you don't read. Titles with stories, old liens, registration that almost matches, that you thought didn't apply. Import rules that wake up when you cross a line on the chart. Insurance that sounded fine until the day you needed it and learned you were out of season, out of zone, or out of date on your survey. This burns money because it burns time. You miss a weather window for a stamp you could have handled a month ago. You pay a second haul because your rig letter expired. You pay a lawyer because the previous owner's loan forgot to go away. You pay a fine because everyone does it is not a rule. Fix it with a boring binder. Proof of ownership chain. Lien release. Registration that matches the hull. Radio licenses where required. Passports and visas where required. Tax and VAT paperwork for the waters you'll actually sail, not the ones you talk about. Insurance that lists your navigation limits, your layup dates, your rig age requirements, and any storm plan they want in writing. If they want chafe gear, show them the photo. If they want your haul-out plan for named storms, write it and carry it. Laminate the simple stuff. Put it in the folder you never lose. And if you move countries, ask before you go. Temporary import, cruising permits, the small fees that keep life simple, you pay them or you pay later. One phone call can save 3 days on hold and a fine that ruins the month. Your sentence this week: we carry the papers and we know our limits. No surprises, no fines. Verdict: the cheapest problems are the ones you never have because you read the rules. Conclusion: 9 leaks, 1 pattern. The boat doesn't take your money in drama, it takes it in drift. Wrong mission, wrong spend. No survey, big surprise. Pretty first, pain later. Project discount, calendar disaster. Monthly math you refuse to say out loud. Cloth and wire you pretend are fine. Tackle you treat like decor. Paperwork you'll get to. You don't need to be rich to stop this. You need to be honest early. Write your year, then pick the boat. Survey haul and rig before you fall in love. Buy go before glow. Sails, rig, pumps, engine. If you rebuild, stage it. Safety and motion first, then sail it ugly and learn. Put the monthly nut where you can't ignore it, and cut until you can smile when you say it. Replace tired cloth and prove the rig. Draw the electrical system, fuse it, label it. Buy the right anchor and chain, set like a pro, dock like a grown-up, and go around if it's wrong. Read the rules, carry the papers, and keep your insurer happy.
Do this, and the boat stops burning cash and starts buying calm miles, the kind you wanted, the kind you remember. If this saved you money, subscribe. Tell me the mistake you learned the hard way, and I'll make a short that fixes just that. Sail smart. Avoid these. Keep your money for the places you're going.